Hello and welcome to this week's Climate Dispatch. Johanna Miller, Vermont Natural Resources Council, and today I'm joined by Ben Walsh of VPIRG and Representative Martin Lalonde of South Burlington, who's also the chair of the House Judiciary Committee. We are very grateful to have you both here today. It's been very busy. Today, the House Environment and Energy Committee and House Judiciary Committee did a joint hearing on the Climate Superfund Bill, S-259. We've been keeping you abreast of this very important policy, looking to hold some of the world's largest fossil fuel corporations responsible for some of the damage that their products have caused over time. It's a really important priority for us. It's been a very important priority for you, Representative. You've been a lead sponsor, and you've done a lot of work on sort of the core tenet of what's embedded in the policy. So just tell us from your perspective why you think it's important and what you hope for in terms of its path forward this session.
Sure. So I've been interested in this for, well, all of my legislative career, just in climate issues. And this came to my attention actually last summer, and worked with legislative counsel and a lot of stakeholders, including you and Ben, to get this bill put together. Really, it was Mike O'Grady that did a lot of the work. He's the legislative counsel on this. Any event, but I was finally happy that it landed today, not in our committee officially. It's in the Environment and Energy is what it's now called. Environment and Energy Committee right now, but it is coming over to Judiciary Committee, and we're in fact taking more testimony this afternoon. But the bottom line is, it's a simple concept that these companies were polluting. They knew that what they were putting into the atmosphere through the burning of fossil fuels was going to cause damage, and they should have to pay for cleaning it up, essentially. Yeah. It's a fairly straightforward concept.
A strict liability concept, one that you're familiar with, and one that VNRC's own Policy and Water Program Director, John Groveman, has been intimately familiar with, and the work on PFAS and your leadership on that was also very important. John's going to be in your committee with several others this afternoon. We're going to link you to that testimony because you're going to hear about those sort of core tenets today, and the bill's going to move forward, we hope, successfully under your leadership. And Ben, tell us what you're hoping for this session and this bill and others.
Absolutely. So obviously we're huge supporters of the Climate Superfund Act. This is something we've been working on since last summer when we knocked on tens of thousands of doors to talk to people about this concept. So really great to see it pass the Senate with flying colors, a 26-3 vote on the floor of the Senate, and have a lot of momentum heading into the House, and really great start this morning in that joint hearing. I also wanted to talk briefly about the renewable energy standard, which is something I know members and folks who are familiar with this weekly dispatch are deeply familiar with. The House actually passed the renewable energy standard earlier this year. It is going to be taken up, we believe, next week in the Senate Natural Resources and Energy Committee. Again, just basics of this bill: it would quadruple the amount of new renewable energy that our utilities are required to provide Vermonters. It would get all Vermont utilities to 100% renewable by 2035, and really would be a game changer in terms of getting new renewables built here in Vermont, which is hugely important as we look at the climate crisis and how we can reduce our pollution in addition to becoming more resilient to it. So we're very excited about that, very hopeful that both of these bills will pass and be enacted this year, and really start to change the game in a big way on both climate pollution and climate resilience. So the last thing that I would say is, if these seem like good ideas to you, obviously get in touch with your legislators, especially the Climate Superfund Act, as it gets rolling in the House. There were 87 co-sponsors of the companion bill in the House, so a lot of thank yous, I think, are in order for the representatives who did co-sponsor that. We'll put information about how to find out if your representatives co-sponsored in the information below this video. And if your legislator didn't co-sponsor it, reach out to them and urge them to support it. I think there's really no legislators who shouldn't consider supporting this idea, and there was tripartisan support in the Senate. So again, get in touch with your legislators and tell them you're on board.
Thank you. Thank you, Representative.
That was